The year is 2031. Every morning, millions of alarms still ring. Coffee machines still hiss. Elevators still descend. Subways still move beneath cities. Cars still fill highways. At first glance, nothing seems different, but something has disappeared. Something so ordinary that most people failed to notice its death. The destination. For more than 2 centuries, human civilization revolved around a simple ritual. Wake up, go to work, come home, repeat. Entire cities were built around it. Entire identities depended on it. Entire lives were measured by it. But in 2031, for the first time in modern history, most people no longer need to work. Not because they became wealthy, not because they retired, because the economy stopped needing them. The transition did not happen overnight. There was no announcement, no single invention, no dramatic moment, only thousands of invisible decisions. A company replacing 10 employees with software. A warehouse replacing 100 workers with robots. A hospital replacing administrative departments with artificial intelligence. A law firm replacing junior associates with language models. One decision at a time, one job at a time, until eventually there were not enough jobs left, and humanity found itself confronting a question it had never faced before. What happens when productivity no longer requires people? For centuries, the greatest fear was unemployment. In 2031, unemployment became normal, and normal became something entirely new. Across the world, office towers still stand. Glass, steel, concrete, monuments to a civilization built around work. Yet inside many of them, silence. Entire floors remain empty. Conference rooms sit untouched. Desks gather dust. Plants continue growing beside chairs nobody uses. Once, these buildings were ecosystems. People built friendships here, met their future spouses, shared birthdays, complained about managers, laughed over lunch. Now, algorithms perform most of the cognitive labor that once filled these spaces. The office did not merely disappear, a culture disappeared. A social structure disappeared. A daily source of meaning disappeared. Many discovered something uncomfortable. They never actually hated work. They hated bad work. What they truly valued was belonging, and belonging turned out to be far harder to automate. The machines did not become conscious. They did not rebel. They did not conquer humanity. They simply became useful, extremely useful, more useful than any employee could ever be. They never slept, never complained, never took vacations, never asked for promotions, never had bad days. They learned medicine, engineering, accounting, architecture, logistics, programming, design, law, education, and eventually they learned how to learn faster than we could. The moment that changed everything was not when artificial intelligence became smarter, it was when it became cheaper. That was the day economics took over. Because every business faces the same question: why hire a human when a machine can do the same task for a fraction of the cost? And once that question became unavoidable, history accelerated. Something unexpected happened. The money problem was solved faster than the meaning problem. Governments introduced new systems: universal basic income, automation dividends, national productivity funds. People still had homes, food, healthcare, entertainment. But something remained missing: a reason to matter. For generations, the first question people asked strangers was simple: what do you do? The question no longer made sense. Millions struggled to answer it, not because they lacked income, because they lacked identity. Who are you when your profession disappears? Who are you when nobody needs your skills? Who are you when productivity is no longer your purpose? The crisis was not economic, it was existential. Out of uncertainty, new communities emerged. Some gathered around art, others around science, others around exploration. People formed tribes based on passion instead of employment. Former engineers built observatories. Former accountants planted forests. Former managers restored oceans. Former workers became creators. Not because they had to, because they wanted to. For the first time in history, millions could pursue activities with no economic value whatsoever. And surprisingly, many discovered they enjoyed life more. Yet not everyone adapted. Some missed the structure, the deadlines, the routine, the feeling of being needed. Freedom, it turns out, can be overwhelming. Then came one of the strangest developments of all. Human labor became rare, and rarity creates value. Certain restaurants began advertising, prepared entirely by human hands. Certain products carried new labels, made without artificial intelligence. Some schools employed human teachers as premium experiences. Some farms rejected automation entirely, not because machines were worse, because people wanted authenticity. Work itself became a luxury good, a status symbol, a cultural artifact. The equivalent of owning a handcrafted watch in an age of perfect digital clocks. The future did not eliminate work. It transformed it into something almost sacred. For thousands of years, every civilization shared one assumption: human life required labor. The assumption was never questioned because it was always true. Until now. 2031 became the first chapter of a new experiment, an experiment unlike any in human history. A civilization where survival was no longer the central challenge. A civilization where abundance existed. A civilization forced to answer a completely different question. Not how do we live, but why do we live? And perhaps that question was always waiting for us, hidden beneath factories, offices, schedules, meetings, deadlines, careers. Perhaps work was never the destination. Perhaps it was only the bridge. And now, for the first time, the bridge ends. The machines gave us something humanity had pursued for centuries: freedom from necessity. What happens next depends entirely on what we choose to do with it. Because the end of work may not be the end of human purpose. It may be the moment we finally begin searching for it.